My name is Terri Messenger, and I am a...
Hey, and welcome to Terri Messenger's Genius Zone. And, this is the place and the space where you are going to get your own free masterclass absolutely free. Hey, Susie. Hi, Susie. How are you?
Hi, Terri. I'm well, thank you. And thank you for having me here today.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm so excited for this conversation. And I guess you and I both know why, because we've had a bit of a talk backstage. So I know what you're going to be really bringing to the audience. And all I can say is sit back, get yourself your favorite drink and listen in, because Susie, first of all, where are you?
I'm in the UK.
That's why you're in such a perfect time zone. This is a great time of the day for me, and being here in Perth, Australia. So your journey, you're a bright, logical, and, you're an extremely loving person, but, you come from that mindset of where spreadsheets are, your love language and your first language. And, it amazes me how I'm attracting people like you into this space at the moment. So obviously the listeners need to hear this. But, you've gone from embracing that kind of element where, you've even been calculating millions and having to weigh up millions in your industry of helping people in the past. And now you've embraced a whole different realm in the spiritual path and awakening of theta healing. Wow. That's pretty huge. So it's just such a huge transition. So first of all, tell me about these, where you've come from, in where you obviously were used to spreadsheets, where you were obviously having to weigh up, millions of dollars, and that kind of responsibility landed on your shoulders. Are you able to enlarge a little on that?
Sure. So I'm originally from the Netherlands. I grew up there, and then I studied hotel management. And I was I'm a very ambitious person. I'm an action taker, and I had my career path planned out. So I moved to London, and I lived in the worked in the corporate industry there for quite a few years. And I really focused on hotel investments, hotel developments, and I did that for larger hotel chains. I did that as a consultant, and I did that for family offices. And eventually I kind of moved out from hotels to hotels and other bigger real estate projects. And I used to do all the financial underwriting for that. And I loved the hotel and the Excel spreadsheets.
Wow. My goodness. So you had quite a big responsibility on your hands to make sure you were taking care of millions of dollars.
Yes, that's correct. And it was a really fun thing to do. I love everything to do with finances, numbers, and just also being able to calculate the different risks profiles and scenarios on when we work on projects.
And I guess the reason I really wanted to delve in there is because, there's people out there that are going to be hearing this, listening to it, could be listening to it right now, but, they're the same. They're very logical people too, or, they're corporate and all of these things. And I feel that this is where there's going to be something really awakening in people, in this conversation, because this is a conversation deeply about finding your purpose. And, I believe every man, every woman, every, living creature on this planet is going to reach their highest fulfillment when they're living out their soul purpose. But For you, Susie, there was a big fear. There was a big fear of the unknown. And, you know, there was a big fear about even letting go to the spiritual kind of realm. And that was kind of like around control and the sort of things that come with responsibility. It comes with the territory, right? So what do you feel, you know, was the big turning point of where you let go? Because I know that there's going to be other people just like you that are going to go, oh, you know, I don't blame her one bit. You know, I'm scared of the unknown. I'm scared of the spiritual realm. That's just woo-woo stuff, right? But, you know, if you were to share to someone out there that's really tottering on the edge and they do want to know their purpose and they want to break through, but they've got that logical brain too, share what was your kind of turning point that made you come to your, you know, new awakened, I guess, senses.
Yeah. Let me give you a tiny bit of background to put things into perspective. Is that okay?
Oh, please. Yes.
So I am somebody who actually did have an intuition like everybody else, but I didn't trust it and I kind of locked it up. I rather would go with my logical mind because I could justify things and could understand it from a logical perspective instead of following that intuition, which just gives me a feeling or a hunch, and I couldn't justify it. So what started happening to me that created so much fear for my spirituality is when I was a little younger, I used to have dreams. And when I look up the meaning of the dream, it would turn out to all be true. And these things would happen in the future. And it freaked me out. I didn't know what to do with it. I didn't know how to deal with it. And I didn't want to know, because knowing stuff that's going to happen in the future before it has happened can be scary. It's a big unknown. So I kind of put any books away that I was interested in or that could activate any of these things. And then it got a little less. And then what really, sometimes how do I say this? When you're meant to go onto a certain path, things come into your life to activate it. Yeah. And you can try to walk away from it and you can ignore these messages for a certain period, but then they get louder. So what happened to me is that I started my own business before that, even though I also had a corporate job. And I needed a business coach because my business was going well and I needed a coach. So I was at a Tony Robbins event, which is like personal development. And
good old Tony Robbins. Yay!
I met a lady there and she was perfect to be my business coach. And she said, I will be your business coach, but what we need to start with is working on your on family traumas, because family traumas have an impact on every area of your life, including your business. When we focus on that, your business will unlock. And I was like, whatever, as long as you can help me with my business, it's fine.
I'm just kind of putting myself into your shoes right there when you've got a business coach and she tells you, well, first we're going to unlock family traumas from the ancestral lineage, and then, you know, your business is going to, I mean, to see, this is to the next person, it's going to sound really, really out there, right? But this is where the story and the plot thickens. So keep going. So, yeah, what happened after she went through and, or what did she tell you? Because I think there was some pretty deep stuff.
So what happens next is I actually had a year of coaching with her. And yes, we worked on the business, but she really opened up the pathways for more spiritual growth. And spiritual growth is really the inner growth, understanding yourself, trusting yourself, and growing your intuition. And that cleared a lot of fear for me. And whilst we went through the journey for about a year, then I met the next person. And I think this is where it really gets interesting, because I had like a pain around my chest, like somebody strangling. it for months. And what happened there is when I was experiencing a lot of stress at work, that's pain would get worse and I could rarely move my back. And then when the stress was a little bit less and the pressure was a little bit less, it got a bit better. But it kept coming back for months. And then I met this person the year after at the Tony Robbins event again.
Wow.
I met another person and she was a healer. And if this would have happened before, I would not have been open for it. But because I had this year-long journey with my coach, I was open for talking to this healer. So I spoke to her and I said, I've got this pain. Can you do something about it? And this is what she said. Can I read your energy field? She's like, sure. And she read my energy field and she said, what I see that's causing the pain is a broken heart that's not yours, but it's from one of your ancestors. It's actually from your grandmother, the mother of your grandmother. And I was like, okay, whatever. This was too woo-woo for me.
Say what? I mean, that would be what the normal person would be thinking, right? Did you just say my great-grandmother?
Yeah, broken heart from her. How can you say that? But that's not where the story ends, because then she started to get specific. She said what she experienced is she had her husband die in the war and a couple of other things that she said. And I knew, like, because I've spoken to my grandmother and her mother, I knew the story and everything she said was true. I've never met this lady before. This is the first conversation. Everything she said was true. And this is where I went from, this is just one woo-woo stuff to, wow, what is this? Who is this lady?
Yeah.
And then she said, can we just release this broken heart from you and send it into the light? And I said, sure, let's do that. And she asked the divine to do that. And she used, and then what actually happened is I had this massive energetic release. I've never experienced something like this. And you can't really tell this through a conversation because sometimes you need to experience things to really believe it, right?
Yes. Wow. Do you know, this is going to sound equally as woo-woo, but as you were talking just then, I seen your aura. And it's just like this literally like an aura. And I remember that when I saw people's auras, it usually was when I knew that they had come through and been healed. And then I knew that the session had really accomplished what they had come there for. But it's really strong. I just had to point that out. So, what do you think now? I'm going to go back to your logical mind a little bit.
Okay.
Do you have something else you wanted to say?
Finish the story for a second?
Yes, please do.
Yeah. So what actually happened is I had this massive energy release and the pain that I had for months never came back.
Wow.
Like I had this pain for months and it never came back thereafter. It was released and it was gone. And this is where I got to, what do you do? What did you just do to me? And she said, I do Theta Healing. It was like, what is Theta Healing? Like something that everybody can learn. And it are just some courses that you take whereby you actually connect to the divine and open up that energy to access the subconscious because you use a different brainwave, which is called the Theta brainwave. And this was the point, like, you can tell me anything, but I want to learn this. I don't want to help people. I just want to learn this for myself. And that's how it all started.
Oh, that is just beautiful. And again, your aura is just so strong. It's crazy. So, from the logical point of view, why do you think, because obviously I understand theta. I mean, I'm a clinical hypnotherapist. I don't know, I haven't done the studies directly about theta, but we know that the profound change, there is an element of theta that happens in the person as they are allowing their subconscious to do the work. I would like to ask you from a logical point, why do you think theta, and maybe if you can just teach a little bit on theta as well and let our audience know what does it mean to go into theta to begin with, and why is it so impactful to help people to kind of really heal?
Sure, that's a really good question. So let's take a step back and look at the brain waves. We have different brain waves we experience. We have delta when we are asleep. Then when the brainwave goes a little faster, deep dream state, that is theta. Then you go into a little faster again, you go into alpha. And that's what people go in, they really relax. And then you go a little faster, which is when you go into beta. And that's where we are now. We are talking, we are active. And then you can go a little faster again, and that is gamma. Now, theta is like this deep dream state. And people can't access that brainwave anymore because there's always too much going on. The only people who can really access that brainwaves are monks because they meditate for months and years on end, and they are able to access that brainwave. But with this modality called Theta Healing, we actually teach people within like a few hours, even a few minutes sometimes, how to access this brainwave. And what are the benefits of that brainwave? When you access the theta brainwave, you connect to the divine energy, which can be called creator energy, godlike energy, divine source, however you want to call it. And it also opens up a pathway to your subconscious. Why is that important? Because science has shown that when we make decisions, about 90% of your decision making is influenced by your subconscious mind. So the beliefs you hold in your subconscious are actually deciding or influences what is happening in your life. And what we teach in Theta Healing is how you can access that subconscious and shift the limiting beliefs into empowering beliefs, so that whenever you're making decisions, the decisions are being made for you instead of against you. And this can have an impact on any area of your life. And that's why it's so incredibly powerful.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love that. So you say that, you know, monks have got this sort of more natural ability to really tune into that theatre space and that theatre beat in their brain. And I guess, yeah, because they do so much meditation, you know, that would definitely, you know, contribute. Do you think if a person meditated and learnt how to meditate, you know, with themselves, self-meditation, that would help to go into theatre?
Meditation overall is very good. But what I see a lot with people is they go into meditation and then the brain starts to wander. And it goes here, and then it goes there, and then it goes this direction. And then the meditation is finished. And it was like, oh, what was the meditation about? So what happens? Yeah, you're laughing because it's probably quite recognizable.
It is
right?
true. It's very true. Do you know, can I just say something on that note? Do you know that that's part of the powerful way, and this is clinical hypnosis I'm talking here, that hypnosis works, because the brain does that. And we say to people, just let it happen. Like if you hear my voice and then suddenly you go thinking about what you did yesterday or what's going to happen later on, you know, that's where they're kind of almost letting themselves be in that presence, and things are opening up. So, you know, of course, with the style of that, it's all coded with their language and what they desire and what's in their best interest. Because so much, and you would know very much about this, Susie, the subconscious mind is not always right, because it bases a lot of the future elements of what actions people do on what they've done in the past and what they couldn't do, or what beliefs that was stored. So when you're taking someone into a theta state, you know, what happens? Like, is it sort of similar to where it's like you're then coding them with the words, the affirmations that they desire and they're looking for? Or is it a slightly different kind of modality? Can you talk me through that?
So the modality is really based on free will and only to what feels right for the person. What we really teach you is first how to connect to that theta brainwave, because just doing meditation doesn't get people into theta. It gets people into alpha and not deeper. So when we really teach them that modality, that allows them to go deeper and really silence their brainwaves. When you really silence your brainwave, you almost get to like this pure bliss energy, this pure bliss state. And it's beautiful to experience. And once you are there, it becomes very easy to teach yourself how to read the energy field of a person, or how to do a future reading, or how to look into the divine timing of a person, or to go into the subconscious. And that's the real power, because what you said is correct, Terri. The subconscious isn't always right. The subconscious influences you based on the beliefs you hold. Are those beliefs empowering? It helps you. Are those beliefs limiting? It blocks you. And that's when we can, or why we can feel blocked for years or have constantly repeating patterns, because they are fed by these beliefs that are held in your subconscious. So what we do with theta healing is we connect up to that divine energy, we read the energy field, and then we just asking the person simple questions that will get allows the person in a conscious state, because everything is conscious, nothing is subconscious. You're always aware and awake with theta healing, to really find those root core beliefs that are holding you back in life. And then you just switch them over for you based on your permission. Now, what is really important to be aware of, any belief that we hold is helping us or is serving us in some way. So having these limiting beliefs, on one hand, they limit us, but maybe they're also helping us in some way, like keeping us safe so we don't have to go into the uncertain situation, or helping us so we might not have to take the responsibility, or we might have a negative belief so we can have our freedom. Sometimes the mind is wired, the belief system is wired in a non-logical way. And basically what we do is we keep the positive things you get out of those beliefs, but shift these negative beliefs so that energy field opens up and a person can just move forward. And you'd be surprised how quickly things change. Like theta healing is not for somebody who wants to hang in the story, play the victim role, and stay in that.
Yes, amen, sister, amen to that, because this is the work this is why we have people like you on the podcast, because we do know that the subconscious mind, when people can bypass that logic and come into the understanding of what you just said, that actually, you know what, the fact you're addicted to potato chips or alcohol or even smoking cigarettes or that substance, there is a higher purpose. There is something that your subconscious perceives about that. And, for the business person, like I know you help business people, and that's where you began. So that's naturally what you're now, what you're aspiring and what you do for other people. There's always that bigger picture. They want to come in, and we'll go through that story in a moment, where they know there's a sense, like one of your clients that, in the corporate world and in that place, but knew there was something bigger and better out there. And yet, people can stay stuck through fear of the unknown, which you know about very well, and feeling like, well, I've got to stay in this familiarity because somehow it just feels more comfortable. But the question is it really comfortable? that might be the higher purpose keeping you there, but whoa, what happened to that person when they stepped out of their zone of comfort and knew there was something bigger and better for them, and then followed their heart and started working with you, Susie?
Yeah. So would you like me to tell a little bit about
If that's okay, because we won't mention any names, man or woman.
Yeah. So Terri asked me about give me an example of what a journey with you looks like. And the main person, like I said, I've got many. She's like, choose one. I was like, okay, this one comes to mind. And it's actually a man. And because we work with both men and women, and I love helping men too, because they have so much potential to really strengthen that intuition, and just small tweaks really make massive changes for them. Absolutely. And I love helping women too, by the way, both. But this was a man, and he has had a very successful corporate job. And his partner actually did some courses with me, and he was interested. And then he reached out, and then he kind of like, let me wait for a moment. He reached out again, and it took him like months before he actually signed up. But then when he joined the first course, it changed his life. And he has been doing the Life Transformation Package, which are the 4 foundation courses of Theta Healing with us. And thereafter, he did the You and Your World package to really hone into, like, the first part is, who am I? What am I here to do? Why do I feel a certain way or believe things in a certain way? And what beliefs are blocking me that I can shift? So that's really tidying up a lot of the things that are holding you back in the Life Transformation Package.
Yeah.
And then the next package is like the You and Your World package. And these are the most powerful Theta Healing courses that we've put together to really find your purpose and start living your purpose. And that has to do with different areas of life. And he really felt he had a bigger meaning. He wanted to make a difference. He just wanted to get more clear on what that purpose is. And don't get me wrong, understanding and identifying your life purpose isn't just one session, isn't just like an action you take. It's something that unfolds over time when you are ready to know or to hear it. And then you hear a little bit, and then you go move forward in your life, and then you hear the next bit. So the You and Your World package really helps to further develop your level of consciousness, understand yourself better, and to get clarity on your purpose. And that's what happened with him. So he did that, he joined that, and then he was like, Susie, I really want to help people. I want to help creatives. I want to help people who also feel like they're stuck in their jobs, are stuck in the 9 to 5, but feel they have to have the potential to really make a difference. And that's beautiful to see this empowerment. Like, it's not about us getting any, it's not about personal gain. It's really about helping and empowering others. So
absolutely. You know, I think that the whole belly button gazing of being, this is what happens. I feel that even when you hear about people that are so locked into even things that go beyond people that are just seeking purpose, but they're going into a more depressive type of a situation. Half of the reason they're depressed is that they're locked into themselves. And it's not their fault. I've been there myself. I know what it's like to live in that very dark place and it's so boring focusing on yourself, because you're not focusing on yourself in a self-loving way. You're focusing on yourself in a very self-beating up, self-sabotaging way, where you're really nitpicking, and there's something that happens that's extremely divine when a person suddenly can really bring something to the world and open it up and be there and be outward focused. That it's like nothing on this earth. So I can truly understand, in fact, You know, I can honestly say with every single person, even that has trained in the different modalities that I teach, it's really not about, even when they do the certification training, it's not always so that they're going to go out and actually become a coach themselves. Quite often they do it because they want to lead in their world. And, you know, like there was one guy I remember, and he broke free of some stuff, and he was a very bright man, had a business, and to this day we see his trucks all over the road. But he came into me one day and he said, Terri, I figured something out. And I said, what's that? And he said, if you can heal me and help me heal, and I'm not really the one healing, I'm only the person who is directing. I believe in the divine energy, right, as you would as well, and I can see it all around you. Every time you're speaking, and especially when you speak about the healing phase, just this big light just comes up around you. But he said, if you can heal, because that was his words, if you can help me heal that inner child of me with that small man syndrome, even though he wasn't small at all, and how squashed he was, you know, by a significant male in his family, he said, you can help me make my first 7-figure target for the next financial year. And I'm like, whoa, because I was not, that business wasn't about it. You know, I was all about that's where it all began for me. It was healing. And in actual fact, when he set his target, I thought maybe he's being a little optimistic, you know. If anything, I was the one holding the limitation. But he cracked it. He did it. And it's amazing. Like, you know, this guy you were teaching, he's actually gone out and started becoming a coach himself, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's let go of his job, and he's set up his business, and he's still on that journey, right? It's a journey that I personally, sometimes people paint the picture very rosy, but really making a significant change in your life and being on this journey of personal development, spiritual development, or even like building a business, everything takes time. And you need to allow yourself that time. And it isn't about having it all now. It's really about how can I enjoy that journey? How can I be grateful for the journey and like stay in balance myself and empower others with that as well?
That is amazing. So with the theatre, so you're going to give us a little snapshot, and I believe, don't run away, people, because this is going to get where it gets really juiced up. So, yeah, so maybe what we can do is we used to say when we were doing training, let's have a play. And it was, I found it so much fun. And that's what I love, when people do find their purpose, as you would know, suddenly work becomes fun, and it's like you're not having to work another day in your life. So can we play?
Let's play.
Yes.
So initially,
I'm going to hand it over to you, girl.
Thank you, Terri. Initially, I thought what I usually do on my master classes and in the trainings, I do a meditation whereby I teach people how to shift your beliefs in your subconscious. But on a podcast, it's not so easy because there's not this personal interaction. You don't necessarily see my face. So I thought, you know what? Let's do something different. Let's give Terri a divine timing reading. Now, let me explain, first of all, what a divine timing reading is. So from the perspective of Theta Healing, we believe that every soul comes here with a purpose. And that the soul might have agreed some things before it came to Earth. And that can be a moment in time, multiple things as just a moment in time. And it can be a few things that are a prolonged period of time. Now, it doesn't matter if you're rich or poor, or if you're sick or healthy, the things that you have agreed in your divine timing, you will do. So what we're going to do, with your permission, Terri, I'm going to have a look into your energy field and do a divine timing reading for you. And we'll tell you what I see.
Beautiful.
This is, by the way, we haven't prepared this. This is all live.
nothing. In fact, Susie wouldn't even let me talk. Well, as soon as I asked her the question, would you like to do this? Said yes. And then when I went on to say something, she said, let's just do this. Like, really, it's just got to be really natural. And I agree. I can't agree more, because that's what it is. It's just authentic and natural.
Yeah. Okay. Just give me a second. I will just scan your energy. Okay. What I see in your divine timing, I see a lot of speaking, and I see a lot of like bigger stages. You'll be speaking on some bigger stages. It starts in Australia, and I see you traveling to the US a few times to also speak there on some stages. Audience goes from a few hundred growing to a few thousand people. This is in person. What I see is a book series of 3 different books. It's 3 different books. One is about your life experiences, or something around what you have experienced in life. One feels about what you're teaching. It's kind of a modality, or I don't know exactly, but it has to do with something you're teaching, a modality, anything like that. And another one is like, it feels like it's around stories that are unexplainable. It's like how magic has happened for people that is not necessarily through the logical mind. It feels like it's a book that's about when magic has happened.
Wow.
And you really want to I see your big thing is really bringing messages into the world. You're constantly bringing messages into the world in all kind of different ways. You're reaching different audiences. Let me have a quick look more. Does this resonate? How does this feel to you?
Oh, it's the way that it feels to me is like, yeah, it feels normal. It feels like, why did this not happen years ago? And you're reading something that is a dream, and that comes, when I say a dream, like a real goal that's and I think somebody once said to me, gosh, Terri, you're hiding under a rock. And I'm like, we literally are down under here, but not necessarily really under a rock. But it feels very expansive, and the 3 books, like, yeah, it feels like they're already written, because I write so much, and I've already written a book, actually, and it is about modality, and it does have story. And, my Master Key program happens to be like everything you've just said. So, and you didn't know any of it, because I haven't even told the world yet. So that's quite amazing. And I feel like I manifested this, because I had no idea that we were going to be having this conversation.
Yeah. You're probably meant to know this. This is when we can let go of this control and move into the trust a little bit more, right? The right messages, the right things are constantly being shown, but are we willing to see it?
Yeah. Oh, I'm embracing it. Thank you. And you talk about having a gift as a youngster, and how the dreams, you were a little afraid because you found out that the dreams were true. And, one of the things that I learned is that dreams are very, very symbolic. And, in my younger years, every so often I would have a dream and it would come true, like a literal thing that did actually happen. And one of them was the person, my initial husband. I dreamt that I was going to marry him, and I did. And, the second one that stands out was, I had a terrible dream about pygmies, right? I didn't even know what a pygmy was. I know I was only a very young teenager at the time, but in my life, very shortly after, I had a lot of bad influences around me, and I got caught up in the wrong crowd, and I just seemed to want to be able to, even though I was, had this great life and great home and great family, but I'd be attracting these, I don't know, people. But the one thing they all had in common, they were all super short, which was like the dream of the pygmies. So it was like that. So I can really relate to you what you're saying as well, and it's quite incredible how that happens. Can I ask, is this something you learnt, or obviously, with that conversation I just said, it was always in you, it was always part of your destiny, or was it awakened in you, or is it something that people can actually learn to be able to read people's energy like that?
So everybody can do this. It doesn't matter where you have, what life experience you have, if you're intuitive or not, everybody has the ability to do this, as long as you're willing to do it. But what is really important to take into consideration is, why are you doing it? Because the energy field automatically closes or opens up depending on your intention. If you have the intention and you go in with unconditional love and through like this beautiful selflessness energy, you're going to see much more, because the energy of a person is going to open up. But if you're going to do it for self-gain or self-benefit or any stuff like that, the energy can feel it and it will close and won't show you anything. So it's really beautiful that automatically it happens like for a person. And anybody who wants to learn this, you can learn it. Like, come to a Theta Healing course, even go and watch some of my master classes online. Everybody can do it. Everybody has the potential. As long as you're willing to do it and willing to spend the time, it's not even long, but people need to be open. What I always say to people, for anybody who wants to develop spiritually, choose your teachers. Don't go, I got recommended, or this person is the best. No, you need to intuitively tune into your heart. Close your eyes, connect to your heart, and really feel who is the right person for you. Because when you do that, you're going to get awesome experiences. When you go on prize or recommendations or peer pressure or whatever it is, or timing, because they can do it fastest, you might not get the best experience. Because like spirituality, you have to choose your teachers, because there's a lot of different things out there. And
choose your teachers. Even choose the people that you are even within close proximity to. But how important is that? But of course, doing something like Theta Healing is such a big step and a big shift. So that's a really important piece. And I think the thing that people are going to specifically love about you in the listening space is that when you are getting people that are very logical minded, they do like their ducks lined up in a row, they do like to analyze, they like to pull things apart, and they hold that real sincere amount of responsibility, they're going to go, like if you just came in as the fairy godmother and, you were always the fairy godmother, and, it's a little bit fluffy, but you are the real deal. Like you're very, very grounded. You know what you're talking about. And for that person out there that is really wanting to explore this territory, they're going to love that, because they're going to go, oh, wow, I'm like that. I prefer to know what I'm talking about and all those things. So I'm going to ask you now the question that I love to ask everyone, because I know that like this, what you just shared to me, I just firstly thank you so much. I'm very, very grateful for that. And I would like to say to you, if there was something that your client, your dream client, now that client could be in a timeless space of 5 years from now, it could be 5 weeks from now, they really need to, they just need to hear something that is going to help them make that next decision for their life. And you want to encourage them what would you say to them?
It's never too late to start. Let your intuition guide you. And really dare to invest in yourself in a way that feels aligned. Let your intuition guide you, and you will find the right people, the right thing, and you will really create life on your terms, which is what you're deserving of.
I love that. I love it. It's so simple. It's so down to earth. It's so true. And sometimes it's the simple things that keep it simple, and it's just glorious. So this is amazing, and I'm going to drop your links so that if you're listening in, or if you happen to be watching it on YouTube, we will have the links in the comments here, so make sure you click on that link. And just one last cheeky question: do you have something obviously it's for the long haul, as long as we've got the podcast running. Yeah. Do you have a masterclass or something you could slip in with this so that we can put it into the comments, so some people can watch that and just did you say yes? You do?
Yes, of course I do. So there are two things. One is my YouTube channel, which is called From Head to Heart. And the second is we run regular masterclasses. So we will give you a link, and people can sign up for a live masterclass. The one that is currently ongoing is Gain Clarity on Your Next Steps in Life, even if you don't know where to start. So if you feel that resonates with you, then sign up through the link below, and we'd love to guide you.
Yeah, that's beautiful. You're just glowing. Thank you so much, Susie. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show, and just blessing everyone out there that's heard this beautiful message today. And, remember, sharing is caring. If you know somebody that may be just needing to hear this, make sure you share with your friends. Thank you so much, Susie. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Terri.
Mwah. Thank you for joining us on another empowering episode of our show, where we have explored through this various topic, along with all the exciting new topics that we bring every week to enhance your personal mastery of excellence. Now, I'd love you to do me a favor. In fact, be part of the Legacy 1 million that I have in the vision for 2028. If you know someone who really would benefit from this recording, from this episode, please share it with them. And when you subscribe, you get notified every week of our episode as soon as it drops. So let's do that legacy thing. Let's share, let's care, let's enrich. And I look forward to bringing you another week of the most enriching content. So until next time, stay inspired, stay awesome, and keep on mastering your excellence.